there, it's Michelle. I have a new video today using a brand new collection from Keep It Simple called Best Friends. It is designed by Paper Star, and we have 6x9 and the 12x12, and it's got lots of wonderful patterns. These are a smaller scale. And then it has a really cute stamp set and die set, and I can't wait to use it. And then there's some super cute die cut ephemera, and this will work for both cats and dogs. So I want to scrapbook today this sweet little girl here. I was having a hard time remembering what we had named her. I think I called her Little Girl, and my son called her Dusty. So I have these 3 photos of her. She was a stray that came up to our house. We live out in the country, and she was so sweet. She would roll and purr. She wouldn't let me pick her up, but she would walk with me on walks. And so anyway, I had these sweet photos of her. She's no longer with us. She met a tragedy. It was sad. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I loved her. She would not come in. I remember it got really cold that winter. I think we had her in 2019 and 2020, so it must have been that winter. And she would not come in. I tried to make her one of those warming tubs where you take a tub and you cut out a hole, but you cut out an exit hole. And I got one of those kind of a self-warming pad you can get on Amazon for cats. I couldn't even get her in it. I was so worried about her. I mean, because it got down to really cold, 10-15 degrees. And she survived. I don't even know how. Okay, so let me tell you about the layout. Just disregard this. I am also designing for another Keep It Simple paper collection. But so I've got the kind of drawn out where I want to use these 3 photos across, which is kind of unusual for me to use full-size 4x6s. A lot of times I like to use 3x4, 3.5x5, and I'm like, no, I want her blasted across the page. And we have a new banner die set here, and so I thought I would make a row of banners across the top, row of banners across the bottom. Let's see, and then on the cut apart sheet, let me find that. Where'd that go? I want to take this row and then this row and put it one on top and one on bottom, and probably build a title down here. Maybe have something up here, do kind of a diagonal design. I'm not quite sure. I am going to use the smaller paper pad for these dies so that more of the pattern will show. And I have not transferred these to a magnetic sheet yet, but when I do, it'll be easier to get to. I'm thinking this size, and this size will be, I think it'll be 1 inch. So that'll be good because then I can do 12 across the top. So let me clear this and get my die cutting machine up here, and I'm going to die cut a bunch of these papers. So that'll be fun. Let me pause the video and I will put you on fast forward. Okay, so I cut out a ton of these banners. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the whole length of them. I hate to cut off that stitched mark, but they're almost 3 inches long. And when you do the math, I don't think there's enough room for them. I did use some of these placeholders to see about cutting my photos down to 4x4, which I have done. I just cut off dirt, a little paw in one spot, but for the most part, I think they fit. She's such a pretty cat. So that helped me know before I cut the photos, whether I wanted to cut the photos, right? So I'm going to place them like this, where she's looking to the right, she's looking that way, and then the center one's kind of centered, kind of looking straight. Okay, so I kind of have laid these out how I think I would like them. Kind of like that. And then I cut a couple of 1/4 inch strips off the striped paper. I thought that would go on either side of these photos. So if you do the math, this is 4 and these are almost 3, so that's already 10. That would only leave me like 1 inch in between if you pull them all the way up. It's not a lot of room. It could work. Let me know what you think. What should I do? What should I have done? Because I'm going to have to go ahead and make it, but I'll without your input, but I'd love to know what you would have done. Or if you want to recreate this layout, if you do not have your hands on this cool new banner die, you can hand cut them, and then just to make them symmetrical, you just cut the next one this following the first one. And then I took the tag die set. It's right here. I took this tag die set and I used a couple of them. These two. And I just cut enough for them to kind of slip behind the photo. Like that. I was thinking they could be kind of cluster bases. And here's the other two. So I used 2 different ones for each side. I picture it over the stripe, but under the photo, and then have a little cluster here, a little cluster here. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I have a lot of extra. And I accidentally cut out a couple of the dog papers. But I have a dog birthday party to scrapbook, so perhaps that's just the beginning of another layout. I took the die cut ephemera pack and I divided it into these 4 sections. This is all dog. So I could go ahead and put that back in here. These are all cats. And I was thinking, well, this one looks like her, but she's on books, or a book and a blanket, I'm not sure. And my little kitty cat wouldn't come inside. So I'm thinking this one is also looks like her. And you know, instead of these tags, it could just be where the cluster is down here. I'm just not sure. Okay, now this is, oh, excuse me. There are a bunch of smaller elements here, and I tried to get all the dog ones out. I feel like the tennis balls are dogs, and the yarn would be kitty cats. And then there's some of this. These are cute. Meow. Oh, magical moments. Meow-gical. Catitude. Let me put this back over here. Purr. And that brings out the purple, which is kind of a small part of this collection. There's purple here, and purple in here, and little purple there. Purple paw prints. I guess I see it more. But it's not the first color I see, so I'm not sure about that. Kitty cuddles, but we're not cuddling. Home is where my cat is. That's sweet. Cool cat. Perfect. And then there's these bowls of hearts, and that's cute. I guess they could be used for either a cat or a dog. Best friend. So also these two, perfect, and this purple one. I think this orangey one might be good. And not kitty cuddles. She didn't have any catitude. We got another cat with catitude. So these are all options. I'll just set them off here. And then I'm going to put you on fast forward again as I make some decisions about whether to make these the size that they are or to cut them down. And so I think what I'll do is I will find the center of this paper, which should be 6 inches, right? And then since this is a very symmetrical layout, I can just mark it, and let me just put it here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can mark it with a pencil if I could find where I put it. So let's see. Right here. And then I will probably go ahead and do this middle part and then make a decision about the banners. So I'm just going to put you on fast forward so you can watch it faster. And I will be back. Hey there. Okay, so first of all, I really think I forgot to mention that this process video is part of a larger hop called Paw Your Way Into Our Hearts. It's a monthly hop. It's hosted by Miranda Weber, and it is something that is probably my most consistent hop to participate in because I always have photos of my pets to scrapbook. So I wanted to talk about 5 different ways to make your scrapbooking easier. All right? So as you watch me put this layout together, I will talk about them. The first one is start with your photos. So I started with my photos. I did not have a sketch I followed. I kind of made my own sketch, but I started with the photos, and I knew I wanted to use those banner dies. So that's where I started. And then the second thing is to repeat elements. So that's what I did with the banner dies. I repeated the banner dies across the top and across the bottom, and that created some visual interest. And then another tip is to use a background paper that adds to your layout but does not distract. So I grabbed a cardstock from Keep It Simple from their red. I'm forgetting what the red is called. But it is a nice heavyweight textured cardstock, and it's a tone on tone with these tiny little stars. And I think it was just perfect to add to the background, to add to the layout. Let's see, another tip number 3 is to use your die cut ephemera that come in a collection. It makes easy scrapbooking. Now this collection has a beautiful 6x8 stamp set that I do plan on using in another layout coming up, but to make this layout I just used the die cut ephemera. The last tip is to use your alpha dies, and then you don't have to worry about finding the right color of letter stickers, and you don't have to worry about them running out. So I used a set called Melody Stories from Keep It Simple. As you can see, it has upper and lowercase, and it has like a background that you can cut out for each letter to give it like a halo. And I did not use that part with this layout, but I could have. It makes the letters a little bigger, and I'm trying to fit these 2 words, or these 2 names, Dusty and Little Girl, on my cluster bases I made with the tags. So I think earlier I had said that I couldn't remember her name, and I'm like, how can you not remember the name of your cat? But she wasn't with us that long, and like I said, she came up. It's been a few years, but I talked to my son who loves cats, and he said, oh, her name was Dusty. And I'm like, no, her name wasn't Dusty. I called her Little Girl. Well, we called her, she had both names. He called her Dusty and I called her Little Girl. So that's why I decided to put both names on the layout. And I decided to do a diagonal cluster where it's not the typical triangle, but you have one on the upper left and the bottom right. And so that's what I did. And I think it turned out good. It makes me happy to look at this layout. I love that cat. And I also wanted to say, I was saying how I thought she was just so pretty. Well, I mean, she's not any prettier than any other cat that, what do you call them? Brindle? I don't even know what kind of cat you call that. What? If you can let me know down in the comments, I would appreciate it. But what made her beautiful to me was her personality. She just had the sweetest personality. And that is what I remember and makes me happy when I think of her. And when I look at her, I think she's just beautiful. So I guess you could say she's beautiful inside and out. Here I want to show you, I have my regular stapler. I'm going to staple those ribbons on the tags. And I do still have a close to my heart mini stapler, and I cannot find staples to fit. If you Google it, it says number 10. I ordered the number 10 and it does not fit. I have a Heidi Swap mini stapler in my next cherry on top order, and I'm hoping that I like it because it was a lot cheaper than the Tim Holtz one. It was like, I don't know, $7 or $8. So I'm hoping, and I think it takes number 10 staples, and I have a whole bunch of them now. So here you see I'm just putting the finishing touches on. I have a bunch of enamel dots from Keep It Simple, and I'm just looking to see which ones I want to use. I decided to use the heart-shaped ones because, because we're making a layout about my kitty cat. So I used 3 in each cluster, and I used a pink one, a blue one, and a reddish one. So, I am going to just put music on for the rest of this, but stay till the end where there will be still shots and close-ups of my layout. And thank you so much for stopping by.